Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Devil's Digest game preview as Arizona State heads up to Lubbock, Texas to face off against Texas Tech in ASU's first Big 12 matchup in program history. My name is Justin Lastertosa. Alongside myself, as always, is publisher Hoder Bino. And Ho, before we even dive into Texas Tech itself in this matchup, Arizona State 3-0 in the non-conference and really silenced a lot of doubters, but there's still some of the naysayers, some people that are sort of doubting that start, and obviously ASU 3-0, but certainly some struggles and adversity faced across the way. How would you sort of grade that non-conference slate?
Yeah, if I would give him a quarter grade, Justin, I would give him an A-. I think there definitely has been some inconsistencies that did reveal themselves, especially in the last two games. But there's no doubting that, when a team is undefeated, then it really can't get anything less than an A-, at least not in my book. Sure, you'd like to see a smoother paths to those wins. You have the Mississippi State game, for example. Total domination in the first half. Second half, the game almost does slip away and ends up in the loss column. Then you got a game against Texas State. ASU looked practically lost, I would say, for good portions of the first half. But 5 minutes before halftime, they were able to tie the game and have their domination this time in the second half against that opponent. I think realistically, you really can't think that a team that only won 3 games last year is just going to steamroll through its first 3 contests. So I think it's important that the games obviously are in the W column. That does give confidence to the team that they are heading in the right direction. And I think that, again, if the consistency is something that does improve later on this year, the grade's going to improve, and I think the record's going to improve too. But overall, I think there's a lot for ASU fans to be pleased with the direction this program is going into.
Yeah, and Kenny Dillingham said himself that the toughest opponents lie in the future, and every single week that ASU continues to progress, that's must win, and that comes no further than Texas Tech, ASU's first Big 12 matchup in the conference. And Texas Tech, talk about a dynamic, high-powered offense. They've scored 118 points in their 2 home games in Lubbock so far. How would you sort of assess this offense and what ASU's defense is going to have to go up against?
Yeah, I think when you look at Texas Tech, there's no need to reinvent the wheel over here, because what ASU is going to try to do on defense is what every opponent's defense tries to do against the Red Raiders, and that is to stop running back Taj Brooks. He had over 1,500 yards last season, scored 10 touchdowns, and the only game that he did not play in, that's the game that Texas Tech lost to Washington State in Pullman. Now, let's be clear, Washington State is having a very good year in their own right, 3-0 right now. But I think that it's really evident that unless Texas Tech does have that balanced offense, that they are going to run into problems. So when Taj Brooks is not there, and when Baron Morton, the quarterback, there's more task on his shoulders, that's when the offense can really sputter. Now Baron Morton, don't get me wrong, definitely has impressive numbers in his own right. 324 yards average passing, 10 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions. But it's been crystal clear, even if you're not a Texas Tech follower, that the Red Raiders on offense really go as far as Taj Brooks is going to take him. So if this ASU defense on Saturday can really force Morton and the Texas Tech offense into more passing downs, especially early in offense, I think they can really take that offense out of rhythm. But again, it's all about really stopping Taj Brooks. That's not breaking news by any means. He's a very powerful runner. He's not necessarily a home run threat, but he is somebody that definitely breaks the first and second and sometimes even third tackle. Can definitely drag some tacklers with him. So maybe not a whole lot different than Cam Scatterboo, but nonetheless, that is definitely a one assignment that this ASU defense is really going to have their hands full with, and basically their rate of success or lack thereof, I think, could really determine the outcome of this game.
And just talking about Texas Tech's defense, there's been a lot of chatter, so to speak, about some of the issues and inconsistencies there. Only gave up 21 points to North Texas last weekend, but again, there are still those glaring issues that ASU's offense could potentially take advantage of. So what do you sort of expect out of ASU's offense, OC Marcus Arroyo? What do you sort of expect out of that unit?
Yeah, I think when you look at the Texas Tech defense, and I know Kenny Dillingham said he's trying not to pay attention to those stats, but if you want to be honest about it, those stats are an absolute eyesore. Giving up an average of 36 points, 181 yards rushing, 279 yards passing. I can't even tell you where the deficiency is because the numbers are pretty ugly on either side of the ledger. So I think maybe the easiest answer, and I'm not saying it's easy to achieve, is for ASU really to present a balanced offense as much as possible. Just like ASU on defense know that they have to stop Taj Brooks first and foremost. The Red Raiders, again, no breaking news. They know first and foremost that they really need to slow down Cam Skattebo. One thing that I'm a little concerned about Cam Skattebo, I believe we talked about it in our post game against Texas State, as well as in the days leading up to this game, is that Skattebo already is averaging 22 carries per game, and we're only 3 games into this 2024 season. I think that's probably a heavier workload than the ASU coaches would like to see. Now, yes, there have been injuries, namely to DeCarlos Brooks, and also Roderick Brown only came back for the first time this season. Played the last game, and wasn't playing effectively. And Kenny Dillingham said that he's still not at 100% after that hamstring injury, which happened way back in the first week of fall camp. But the running back by committee, I know it's something that the ASU coaches do want to achieve. The question is, how much is the health of that running back group in general is really going to help Cam Skattebo and the ground attack. So that's something you definitely want to look into. Obviously, Cam Skattebo having that 2 days extra rest, I mean, probably did him good. I think he even said that after Tuesday's practice. So we'll see how that does manifest itself. I think one thing that's interesting, Justin, is that even lost to Washington State, they actually did a good job stopping the Cougars' passing offense at one point. But then the quarterback for Washington State was running wild. I think he actually went for 200 yards on the nose. And we know that Sam Levitt, besides being a very good passer, and I know that he silenced a lot of critics after the outing he had against Texas State, that he is a very good runner and really is a true dual threat quarterback, because I don't think his passing skills are a country mile better than his running skills, and vice versa. So I'm really curious to see that if Texas Tech is successful in really halting Cam Skattebo as a runner, can they really also halt Sam Levitt as a runner too? But again, I think for ASU, the name of the game is really just to keep that offense as balanced as possible, because that secondary for Texas Tech, at least through the first 3 games of the year, is definitely not one that is striking fear. I don't think. I think also that, you know, when it does come to the offense, it's really also just dealing with the elements on the road. I think that the game against Texas State, and I know center Lee Fatanu said that there were some communication issues, but the fact that we're able to solve those against Texas State, even though it's going to be a louder environment and many tens of thousands of people more than there were in San Carlos last week, I think just the communication of the offense is really going to be key, no matter how effective of a game plan that they have. So again, I can understand that you don't want to provide any bulletin board material for Kenny Dillingham and not say that this defense is one of the worst that they played so far, and we definitely don't want this defense to just wake up against Arizona State. But I do think that ASU can find success again against this defense. It's just a matter of getting the measured approach, hopefully getting more running backs in the mix, and Sam Levitt not only being on point with his passing game, but also his running game. And those are things that we've seen until now. So it's maybe not asking the impossible, if you will.
Yeah, and as we mentioned before, players and coaches alike have said that every game from here on out continues to get bigger and bigger as ASU's 3-0, finished off the non-conference slate on a high note. Every game continues to grow in its magnitude, and the Sun Devils head into Lubbock as the underdogs. First Big 12 conference game once again for ASU. But what do you sort of expect to see holistically throughout this matchup, and what's your pick?
Yeah, I think ASU loves being a road underdog. They were a road underdog last week against Texas State, which was an eyebrow raiser before the game. Maybe during the game, some people said, "Oh yeah, this makes sense now." And ASU was able to disappoint some bettors and some Las Vegas betting moguls with a close win. I think ASU is definitely capable of winning this game, because I think ultimately, Justin, we know what ASU is all about. I think we're really able to decipher the character, if you will, of the Sun Devils. I talked to a Texas Tech insider earlier this week. The article's on the front page, and he admitted to me that there's nobody in Lubbock right now that knows what to make out of Texas Tech, because they definitely had some, had some highs, had some lows. I know it's a short season, but still, I mean, if you need to beat a team like Abilene Christian at home in overtime, and by the way, through the process also giving up 50 points, then you go to Washington State the next week again. Washington State, definitely a formidable team this year, but absolutely get blown out. I mean, does that win against a North Texas team really tells you that everything is just hunky-dory right now? All the issues have been fixed? I really don't think so. And even though those 2 wins against Mississippi State and Texas State did leave somewhat to be desired, the character, the resolve, the resiliency, and I know probably ASU fans are probably sick of hearing those words by me and anybody else covering the team, but that's exactly what's happening each and every week. And those are the exact character traits that can help ASU win a game, which, to your point, Justin, is definitely the most difficult they had to date. So I think just because we know what ASU is, and rather not knowing so much what Texas Tech can really present, I think this is a game that ASU should come back as the victor. I'm predicting ASU to win 35-31 in Lubbock.
So ASU looks to improve to 4-0 on the season against Texas Tech. For all of the game coverage, pregame, in-game, and postgame, go to DevilsDigest.com. Follow Devils Digest on Twitter at Devils Digest. I'm Justin Lastertosa. That's publisher Hart Urbino. We'll be in Lubbock, Texas to catch all the action. We'll talk to you guys on Saturday.